Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 89 of my modded Factorio playthrough. Enjoy! Now the final bit is the assembly machines. I actually probably should have recorded that because there's two sets of assembly machines here. The first set was to do the liquid concrete. So how much cement are 18 powder mixers making? Each one makes 0.25 per second, so times 18 is 4.5 per second. Oh yeah, that's the familiar number. And let's see, it needs 8 cement every 4 seconds times 0.75 is 1.5. So we needed 3. We also needed slag and water. We could send water all the way from down here if we could make it work. Looks like it will. Let's do that. Let's put the power lines right here instead. Or just that one, I guess. There we go. Because this can be combined with slag. And then we'll have our input belts. A little weird coming from this side, although it's also possible we can have slag coming from up here. Lab research. How about crafting speed? That's a very big upgrade, but it'll help. There we go. Because the actual input of materials is fairly slow for all this stuff. So in total, we're going to have 12 items every 4 seconds times 0.75. So 2.25, which is 1 blue, which we need to be a long. So this needs to go up 1 square. Okay, and then we just need to do the concrete, which I guess would be the bronze pipes because it's a heavy material. I think we're at the point now where we need to move this back, but we also have an idea of the overall shape. I worry I'm building this too big, but making concrete's a fairly slow process, so it might actually be beneficial to have something this big. But it's also balanced, and I love balanced, so... Let's see, where are we actually going to put this? Probably something like this. Seems good enough. It's kind of really squished in there, but it'll get the job done. And I believe, yeah, we had our 8 units here. But that's not going to work. Because we need a power pole right there, so... Alright, let's just pick all this up right here. And move it over a square. Will that not reach? It's gotta reach right there. Yeah, it does. That's what I thought. But those need to be 1 space higher. Looks like based on their position, they got some power. Excellent. Alright. That should be everything we need. I'm not going to worry about having boxes for this, because each one of these is going to store 1,000 bricks, so that seems like enough for now. Looks like what we need to do is fire up each individual step of this and make sure it works properly. So first we need a C4 pump and a standard water pump. Looks like we have neither. C4 pump, offshore pump. Okay, I think we can use a little bit of landfill here to make this easier. There we go, now it lines up. There we go, this process starts. You see it's making its way down. Pretty good. And it's making its way into here, so now we need to get the fuel in and the carbon dioxide out. Well, the carbon dioxide can hook up right down here. Hopefully there's going to be enough room. We might have to set up an additional logic down here. Another reason to turn this on. See now that we have slightly more than 100? It's because it's been running to keep mineralized water from getting too high. Looks like we need a third reason to turn this on. Oops. I guess that won't hurt anything for that to run for a little bit. There we go. So now we need to get the carbon dioxide on this network, and that's going to be pretty easy. I think we just need to connect this and this together. There we go, carbon dioxide's on. So let's say if carbon dioxide gets above 100,000 to also turn on to clear up some space. So carbon dioxide is more than 100,000. Output a green square, which is what these other two do. And that'll turn that on, produce a little bit more plastic just to keep the carbon dioxide from filling up all the way. We're going to eventually use that plastic, so it's okay to create a little too much of it. However, we still need to get the fuel here. Looks like we're out of belts. Now in this situation, we're using coal for the boilers here just to make things a little cleaner. Because ideally we want to use our processed fuel. And for the purposes of cleanliness, I think I'm going to continue to use that coal. It's not like we're really going to be using that much of it. So let's move this up here. And across here. And up. So once the coal gets here, we should be producing our lime. Yeah, each one of these is now full with a bunch of it. There it goes. So now we need to get our silicon. That'll be one less byproduct we have to deal with. Oops. That area is not meant to be driven through. Uh-oh. Looks like we need to do some prospecting here on the rubite. So we're running pretty low, so... Oops, why did I take that one off? It was actually doing something. So, let's get that prospecting started. And let's pick up the silicon. That's one less byproduct we have now. Technically, the silicon has a use in circuits, but I think I'm going to be going megabase before I build the tier 3 circuits, so we're going to be producing silicon anyway before we actually ever get to making those circuits. So I'm not really concerned about stockpiling the silicon. I think it would be better utilized in making concrete, so that's why I'm okay with using it here. So there it goes. And they're all chugging away. And there goes the cement. Look at it all go. Alright, so now the last step is to get the slag up here. Which I guess would come in along the coal here. Probably up here. Yeah, I guess along here. It's not as perfectly flat as it could be, but... yeah. Oh well. Yeah, it's not quite as perfectly flat as it could be, but it's pretty close. This stuff is all temporary anyway. It's not long for this world, so... I'm not as concerned about it as I used to be earlier on, because it's all gonna get removed soon. Soon is a relative term, I suppose. Alright, once the slag gets here, that should be everything we need, and we should be pumping out a bunch of concrete bricks. Let's see if all these turn green. Should be mostly green. The last one might not be. It'll only be partially green. Yeah, looks like it's getting some extras though. There it goes. So let's check everything else. Most of this should be green most of the time. Once it clears the buffer out of the resources that are on the belt, especially on the left side of the belt up here, they should all be mostly green. See, it's using the silicon relatively slowly for what we're getting. Each piece of silicon, I think, is going to make it's going to make a cement, and 1 cement becomes 10, or 8 cement becomes 10 concrete. So that's a pretty effective use of that silicon, which otherwise wouldn't have been doing anything. Okay, looks like we're mostly green. There's that one that's yellow, but that's pretty close. I think it'll eventually clear out. And these 3 guys are green and buzzing away. And this is mostly green. Seems pretty good to me. Of course, this is all going to come to a screeching halt when we run out of silicon. But it's nice to make. We need this concrete anyway, so it's a good thing we're doing this. I think we're pretty good on the factory here. We're basically at the point of needing to start working on that mega base, that planning of the mega base anyway. See, it looks like our walls are done. We're gonna need a bunch of those. So where do we go from here? Well, the idea is trains, basically, that we want to take all of these elements and spread them out. You know, have mining happen somewhere, you know, and then sort the ore and turn them into like iron and copper ore, like over here, and then maybe make them into iron ingots over here, and then send them over to the bus. And basically all of these individual elements, like chemical processing up here, and wood processing down there, and stone processing over here, and plastic, all those are going to be their own little alcoves, and we can expand those as necessary, and we can even move them, and it'll take no effort at all logistically, because as long as there's a train station with the same name, the trains will just go where they need to go. But the problem we're going to have is we're going to run into biters and stuff that are going to keep encroaching on our territory. So what we're going to need to do is build a bunch of turrets and walls and basically claim territory. So we can claim the territory and then kill the biters, and then the turrets will prevent any new biters from getting in. And we need to do this while we still can, and the biter evolution is still low, and where our basic machine gun can still kill them, because we don't really have any more advanced weaponry yet. And this is a fairly time-consuming process. We can make it easier with blueprints and manufacturing things on the bus, which is what we're going to do. But this is an important step. We need to claim territory. We need to figure out what land masses do we want to have our mega base on, especially because we're dealing with all this natural bodies of water. And that's going to be a time-consuming project, and that's definitely the next project. But that's going to have to wait until the next episode. So thanks for watching.